You know, we're all freaking out because backlogs went like this. This is the third time I've been through this, okay? The reality of what happens is that customer who typically is going to buy a site-built house, now because of interest rates, they can't afford that house. Where do they go to get something less expensive that looks just like a site-built house? That's exactly what we build here every day. You know, everything in the house is full tape and textured drywall, dual pane, low E windows, our standard thermal zone protection with 211111. Those all meet and exceed what site builders are doing today. Now, there's site builders that are doing 30, et cetera, but our package covers all of that. And the difference in what we build and they build is we simply ship it on a carrier to the location and set it. If you're watching all these site-built housing going up and around everywhere in the state of Texas, you'll see, you guys need to get your stuff here?
Yes, sir.
We're not gonna be here for about 10 minutes.
Oh, okay, well,
Okay, that's cool. New employees, welcome aboard.
Thank you, sir.
Glad to have you.
Nice to meet y'all.
But that reality is, there's 20% of that market that's gonna be looking at our product now because they can't afford it. And we sure as hell are gonna probably have another interest rate hike this week. You know, I've been watching the news all the time. But the great part of this again is that opens up for that buyer to move into what we're doing. Now, what that buyer is gonna expect of you is, you know what the hell you're selling, because it's a much more educated buyer. Because simply, if you think about it, a customer buying a True is doing what? They wanna get me bought. Somebody help me get into some shade and shelter. Because it's all shade and shelter, but they don't budget for it. This customer's gonna budget for what we've got, and you're gonna have to be the smartest person there is, teaching them, training them on what we do. Now, you guys are going through feature benefit. You know, I've been doing fabs for the last 41 years. It's amazing. And it's the same stuff over and over and over and over. The only thing you have to do as an RSC, retail sales consultant, don't be talking about that in a True, because if that's not in a True, you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot. So when you see these things, like these fabs, okay? I've probably sent these out 200 times since I've been working here at Palm, okay? They get lost in the shuffle, especially when business is at its peak and anybody can sell a house. Now the difference today is you're gonna have to work for every sale you get, because there are not that many buyers, and you wanna make sure you captivate that buyer. And it's all about feature, advantage, benefit. The feature simply is dual pane low E windows. What's the advantage of a dual pane low E window? Well, it's real simple. It's gonna block about 20% more of the heat out of your home, which is gonna make your AC run less. In the summer, it's just the reverse of that. And those are all things that are gonna just build value to the customer. Now, you can't cover all 30 items with them, or you'll be there all day. But when you're in your interview process, you got that paperwork. What's important to the customer? Talk less, listen. Talk less, listen, okay? And if it's energy or construction, you know, it's real simple to just jump right into that. Everything that's built that comes out of this plant is minimum 2x4 construction, sidewalls, interior walls. Doesn't everybody do that?
No.
No, they don't. How do you think they get lesser price? You know, 100% half-inch tape and textured sheetrock throughout, instead of wallpaper and battens. You know, the great part of sheetrock, you know, what we're using, full tape and texture, you can paint it. If you ever damage it, you can spackle it and fix it and all the other good stuff, you know. There's so many things to learn, but focus on what you're comfortable with and the top things that we build out of this plant. Not every buyer can come here. I mean, not every person's gonna be able to afford an 05, okay? Now, the other thing, and what I want you to look at is that handout I gave you. familiar with family of floor plans?
Yes.
Yes? Right? If you stocked 70 of these houses here, 7 of these houses, 1 of each series, you would have opportunity to have 40 sales off of those. That's because each one of them has family members. Now, what I see and what I find, you're looking puzzled, so
No.
you with me?
Yeah.
Okay? If you look at the urban homestead, and I think you have an urban homestead, y'all have a 56-foot urban homestead, I believe, okay? Look at the different houses we build under urban homestead. You've got 14 other houses that can be built off of that one home, okay? Well, why did we do this? When we went into bankruptcy back in 2008 and 9, every location I had at least $1.5 to $2 million worth of product sitting on their dirt. The flooring company called in the note, which simply means we had to come up with money quickly. Every location was limited to $500,000 in product, okay? Not my product, all products. So what it really meant for me as the high-end guy, I was gonna be lucky if I got 1 house or 2 houses on the location. So we had to create a way to build and be able to offer different models. The family of floor plans. What our intent was, take the smallest house there is in that series, that particular floor plan, that is your anchor house, and be able to sell up from there, which is very easily done, because if you look at everything we're building, here's the farmhouse. There's the farmhouse in the 32 by 64, right? Here is a 76-foot with a flex. Guess what? It's still the same. The kitchen, the dining room, the living room, master bedroom will always be almost identical to each other. So it's an easy pitch. Where I see the problem at most locations, that goes right over their head. You know, well, okay, pull out the inventory sheet. Okay, here's a Fort Worth house, 56-footer. Yeah, it's on the lot. We'll show them that one. When you have the opportunity to show them that 56-foot urban, I've never had a customer walk in the urban homestead and go, oh, this is ugly as hell. It's more of a home that I see 40-year-olds and plus, very comfortable. They want smaller square foot, but they want that look of a good house, and that's what we do. So you have every opportunity in the world, but you have to be focused in on square footage, budget, where do you need to fall. Now, what I've done with some of the smaller accounts, they've got their MVG pricing on one sheet. Shows every house that's there, right? So what I've done for them is put these spreadsheets together, and you all have seen them, or if you haven't, you're not looking in your email file, okay? I'll give you the price on every one of these houses that we're doing. If you've got a 56-footer on your lot, you've got a price for a urban homestead flex 3-section easily. And what we've done with those, we've taken those and made that spreadsheet where in red we put all the different sizes of houses. So what you get is a picture that shows you anything from 79,000 up to 214,000. And you may not have but 2 of those houses in stock. Am I going over your heads or not? Okay, you guys have sold a lot of houses already. You know, you've sold plenty of houses already. You've not seen any product from me yet, but that's okay too. Will's sold a couple since he's back. But the thing we're gonna focus in on today is we go out here in the plant. You've got some other backup materials here, and that's good stuff just for you. You keep those.
We love it, thanks, Lynn.
We're gonna go through the plant, and we're gonna go through the frame shop, through every station. And I'm gonna pull every feature, advantage, benefit as we go through it. So this is gonna take about an hour, but it's gonna be a good hour, let me tell you. And there's no dumb questions. If you don't know, just go, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Chassis, a
frame itself, we don't install the frame underneath the home till the home is completely built. You go, well, how you do that? Well, it's called a skate system, where we build and manufacture the frame here in this building, and then we'll install it at the end of the line over on that side of the building. But when we go into the floor department, what we're going to run in is a series of skates, and skate simply means it's 2 I-beams on wheels, and it's about 16 inches off the floor, and it will be built on that level frame all the way through the production process. Every manufacturer I know puts it on the chassis, on the frame, in the floor department. As you can see in that frame out there, it actually has camber in it, okay? Camber means simply they got to do that because as we add additional weight as it rolls down the line, it will start to flatten out. But the problem is, if you're back here in the sidewall department where we're framing windows, doors, and everything else, if your plane is not level, how in the heck are your window openings and your doors going to be level? They won't be. Because we're building on a level plane, we never hit that problem. If you go, what are you talking about? You know, just stop me and say. You start with I-beams, they'll roll the I-beams in from out here and bring them in here. Everything's MIG welded in. Depending on the size of the house, will depend on if it's 10-inch I-beam or 12-inch I-beam, or if we have to have additional double I-beam in some of the axle areas. You see, we build it upside down, and then once we get it through, we'll pull it out, flip it over, and take it into the paint shop. Somebody asked me, well, how long is that paint gonna last? And I went, how long do you think you'll be alive? It's a corrosive paint, but it's gonna last forever. You know? And you're not gonna take the frame off. On a HUD home, you cannot remove the frame. You can remove the hitches. If you see they're bolted on, those can be removed. The way we do the camper, we have jacks along underneath, and they will lock that in place and then jack it up for each model. Every frame is independently made for each house that is sold. In your cheat sheet I gave you, there is a element page that talks about the warranty on elements, what you should and shouldn't do, etc., etc. Elements is called LVT. Luxury vinyl tile. Okay, luxury vinyl tile. So this is complete vinyl. Okay, we've been doing this for about 4 years, I guess. Now this is an obsolete color, but that's fine. Let me tell you the benefit. Because we use these and they're independent panels of each other, when we lay this floor, we're going to glue this down and then put this down. Okay. We're going to ship 4 to 5, 6 pieces of this loose with every home we build. Why do you do that? Well, people damage stuff, unfortunately. The repair process is as simple as take a hairdryer, heat up the panel, the glue will release, put the new panel in, put weight on it for 24, 48 hours. And you'll be as good as new. Now the problem with boat floor or the other vinyls out there, okay, if you damage that, that's a full sheet of material. You're going to pay somebody anywhere from $1,200 to $1,400 to replace the tile or the boat floor in your home. This process has cut our service at least 2%. Amazing. My first job in the trailer industry in 1976, I laid linoleum in the floor department.
Oh, wow.
And I can't believe how much crap gets going down line in the process, how many times it gets dinged, nicked, whatever, but never shows up till the homeowner starts mopping the floor. Then all these cuts and scratches show up. Unbelievable.
When I had my rookie class, this was my teacher benefit. I remember the part you said.
Next, when we had the winter from hell. Yep. And so what do we use?
Mix.
There's several different things, of course, but the great part of it is, and if you go back that. Fly line system. Now these are the fabs I send out. And if you're not using them, shame on you, okay? The advantage, superior to CVPC, that's one over there, okay? And copper water line. So flexible that we're able to eliminate the amount of fittings that are used. See, down here, we got a fitting here, but we just got this long curved sweep. There's 33% less fitting in this house than this side. So that's a plus for you, the consumer as well. Which was simply trash, okay? We went through plywood back in the day, and then plywood, the problem we have with it is it has a tendency to separate. Plywood is made in 5 distinct layers, okay? It's glued together, okay? The difference with the OSB, which is oriented strand board, call size is 3/4 inch, okay? Has a tongue and groove. Tongue and groove means it's got a, it doesn't on this one because these are cut sheets for the start the house. If you notice here, that's the receiver end, the female side, and then the tongue is normally on this side. OSB, oriented strand board. Do you realize that your smart panel siding is nothing but OSB with the middle side on it? Same material. Why would we do that? It's exposed to the elements. Well, hell yeah it is. Because the glues and resins that bond this board together are waterproof. The smart panel siding has a 50-year warranty. Now I have a lot of people that go, oh man, I want concrete siding. I go, well, why do you really want concrete siding? I go, well, it won't burn. Think about that for a minute. Okay. Your siding won't burn. Your entire house will burn down, but now you'll have some siding. And you only have a 25 to 30-year warranty on siding. Now the other problem with cement siding is, what happens to cement when it moves? It cracks. And if you don't think 70 miles, maybe 75 miles an hour going down the highway, that ain't gonna crack, it's gonna crack all to hell. And unfortunately, the repair procedure is Auto Bondo, smeared in the crack and paint. That doesn't sound like a solution to me. That sounds like a problem. Now, when we get up to the siding area, I'll take you a little more in depth into the smart panel siding, okay? So the only thing we offer right now for flooring is standard OSB. I had a customer that got down to it last week, and I simply went, okay, is this the only thing keeping you from buying this house because you've got to have plywood? Yes. I called him on it. I called the plant. Hey, I think I got a order in it. Guys tell me he won't buy it without it. Okay? We're completing the board here now. Everything we're using, you see he's got that glue? That's an alpha glue. It's not Elmer's glue. This is alpha glue. So what they're going to do is glue the board down first. Then we're going to nail it with ring shank nails. What's behind you? So why the ring shank nails? In theory, with it ring shank, when it penetrates into that board, those ribs are back out. It also has a glue material. How level is that floor? You're looking at it right now. So the great thing, we're going to be building it on a foundation that we're going to detach. literally laying tiles. This house has elements throughout. Yep. It's on your buyer. I mean, if you got to be in that price point for a work, you're not going to be talking about 2x4. That writing on the wall? What do you think that is?
Which?
Exactly what it is. That way, the electrical knows there's got to be a switch there for the light that's going to be in the roof cabinet. So they'll cut that here, and then down here, a receptacle that's going to be off the floor. Now, one thing neat about the electrical code for us, you will always have a receptacle within 6 foot of a doorway, and no farther than 12 foot apart on a linear line. You know why that is? Why it's what we call 6 and 12? Because every lamp ever made, UL approved, prevents hot and cold air from mixing in the wall cavity. Okay? It's a requirement for every manufacturer with insulation.
What is it called?
Craft back insulation.
Craft bag.
Craft. Now, we use John Mansfield, and if Pink Panther's got something less expensive, because insulation is insulation. Does anybody know what the R is for? R11.
Radiant.
That's the amount of time that it takes to burn through. Resistance factor. Resistance factor. Okay? It's like a booger. It is. All of our windows and doors. Okay? Notice you got double headers. You actually have blocking underneath the stud at this point. This is where manufacturers save money. Most manufacturers are going to have this cripple in place because they're going to save money by not using it. We're going to put it in here because we want this windowsill to stay level on the level house so it opens and closes that window all the time. Now if you look across here, from this side you'll see all the galvanizing and strapping. What we're attempting to do, that roof on it, because these are all tied together, the roof is going to be tied together. It's called unitized construction. Starting on this one right here as well. We're even going to cut the receptacle opening through the walls over here on the table, so it's one less thing to do on the main line. And because they both went down 1,013. Alright. Now, we're always talking about when you see all these. The house, okay? Because we did so much taking texture, it probably knows that it needs to move. So we're reinforcing that on every home we build. All double wides, triple wides will have this beam on both sides. This is the mate line section here, okay? We're going to set that on top of the mate line, and then the other half is going to have everything up there on the side. You can see we're putting the strapping up here at the top as well. Again, is when I talked about unitized construction, we want this house, if it moves, it's going to move this way or this way, but not like this. It's not going to fold like an accordion. to be pre-drilled holes, and then we're going to screw these face fronts together wherever they attach. Your standard in your package houses, and even what's up? Even the Somerset now has hardwood cabinets in it. Okay? So a lot of that information I'm sending you, you need to be cognizant of it. We lowered the price on the Somerset over $4 a square foot, and then rolled in the hardwood doors, the arch window, and the Belterra island as well. On my thumb here is where the nail went right through my thumb. Let me tell you, that was one person on the gun, because it was rain shank and coming back out not a place. Now that's been 40 years ago, just because the number of straps was going. A whole lot about windows until I did a little research and found out some significant difference. In our houses, new houses, you may have some old ones out there, right? This solar heat coefficient, okay, that number is critical, okay? That number, that's the measurement of how well a product blocks heat caused by sunlight, okay? In the past, we've used windows that were up to 0.65 or 65%. What that meant, the sun's solar heat was allowing 65% of it come through that window. Today, we use everything 35% maximum, and we have windows that are also 21%. So think about that. If we're only allowing 25% of that sun's heat to penetrate that glass, that's incredible versus our old windows. And they're low E. Low E stands for an emulsion that's added to the window to make it even more efficient. So what I tell people a lot of times is, you know, we're giving you something that's standard in the application, okay? Where you may have a better price down the street. If your electric bill is $40 more a month because your house is not energy efficient as we are, you just gave yourself a bad taste, because you're going to pay $40 more higher. And I usually use the term, look, if my window's saving you $1 a day on your energy bill, it's $30 a month. It's $360 a year, okay? What's that on your 30-year note? I mean, what are you, $11,000 probably? To be in a much more energy efficient home. So it's little things. This is a window that you can actually open up and flip up and that. It's vinyl clad, so you don't have to worry about it rusting. Where we get caught up, and I'm as guilty as anybody when I walk in a house, I forget all the little details. The important part of feature, advantage, benefit, and focusing in what that interview is what's important to the customer. You mentioned when we sat down that the energy was important to you because you know it's just sunlight. So one of the things we do at Home Harbor, when you're in the house, point out the window, talk to them about how much better windows we have, okay, to get into. And at the end of it, the benefit is for the customer. What does it mean to him? He's going to save money. Every damn feature benefit, the advantage is money. The customer's going to save money. It's kind of like tape and texture. If you got vinyl wallpaper with battens, my dad was an asshole. Beat my mama. That's how sorry he was. He'd always come in drunk, be mad, slam the door. I lived in a trailer. Some people will have to keep warm. It's a blown insulation, so we're not going to have any voided areas like the pink insulation you would normally have. Some manufacturers are still doing that. And the problem, what happens in the production process with pink insulation in the roof cavity, How much does that? I think it's about 12 inches on the R21. Cutting, setting, a measure plate on the way. We gotta have 1 inch clearance down here with the tree. Perforated something
Good, because if I can do that in this house, that tells me that I can do that in that other
Yeah.
house. This is a 4-2, has an optional third bath that you can put in between these two bedrooms here. Now, the good part is, we've changed over to these. Boy, this is one crooked little map. But these are all the different models. This is a 60-footer here, 32 by 60, 3-bedroom version. Okay, this is the home we're in. Here's the optional third bath or an optional study. This hits, well, I think it's in the low 150s, I think's what it is. Okay, and here's the 76-foot version. And then each one of these has a media room flex as well that you can build off of it. So we can hit pretty much any price point.
When I pressed out those, we did it for 185 with
Which,
the flex.
yeah, and when you're typically looking at like a vintage farmhouse with the flex, that's probably 200,000.
And that was before any price
Oh,
decreases.
there you go. But we're gonna get those out. We'll have these for Somerset for everybody.